One full century has passed since the autumn of 1912, and thousands of students, teachers, and staff have all experienced their first day of school at SFS.
I can remember my first day of school at SFS. First of all, it was my first teaching job. I was so excited. But I was very interested at the variety of cultures that walked into the room.
I can clearly remember my first day of school at SFS. I was placed in 3rd grade, and my teacher's name was Mr. Balag. School had already started for about a month or so, and so I came in not only to a new school, but I was also the new student in the class. And it was probably the first time that I've met so many Westerners.
Well, as a matter of fact, my first day of school wasn't at SFS. I turned 6 the year we went on furlough, and they wouldn't let you in school at SFS until you were 6. So I had my first grade in the US, and then went back and was in the 2nd and 3rd grade. We had 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in one room, and then 4th, 5th, and 6th in another.
30, 40, or almost 80 years later, what kind of memories do people have of their time at Seoul Foreign School?
Oh, well, I had a lot of great experiences. They asked me to coach the high school girls basketball team. And I was a good athlete, but I didn't know anything about coaching basketball. But they needed it, and I did it. And so that was fun.
If you can contact Mr. Balag, he would say to you that for the first, fall till, I don't know, January or February, I did not say a word. And I remember that I did not raise my hand, I would not speak in public, I hardly spoke English. But then there was a great transformation that happened around February, March. For some reason, all the ESL lessons must have kicked in. And that was when I remember Mr. Balag teasing me that now I would raise my hand for every question.
We were in school on the morning of December 8th, because we were on the other side of the ocean from the States, so it was December 8th was Pearl Harbor Day. And we were in school that morning, and 11 o'clock, our cook came and called us out and said we had to go home because the war had started. So my sister and I walked out of the school, and I remember looking back and wondering whether I'd ever see it again.
World War II and the Korean War interrupted the life of SFS. But the school moved to its location in Yeonnidong in 1958 and returned to its original purpose.
Long before I went to the school, from the very beginning, this Seoul Foreign School was not a mission or church-owned school. Seoul Foreign School was a community-run school, but it was always a Christian school for all children. And it's always been our attempt to make the school experience one which does not denigrate anyone else's faith. That very much appeals to me, and it very much appealed to me when I was there, and it very much appeals to many of the parents who come.
There must have been something in this vision that got built up over time that just made it richer and richer. While staying on point, they kept broadening it or opening it up to make it even more interesting and more inclusive. So that enabled Tavivan's father to bring his children to Seoul Foreign School.
My parents chose SFS just because it had a good reputation. I'm sure it still has a very good reputation for its academics.
You just walked into an environment where academics were a priority, and also just in the culture. The attitude to learn was just right there. And so it was such a pleasure to teach them.
I think the school's role is very much dependent on or influenced by the community the school is in. Parents take their kids to concerts. Parents take their kids to plays. Parents take their kids to parks and on trips around Asia to see the world. We're so blessed in Seoul Foreign School that we have that kind of parent.
You get good students with good families who want to support the teachers in any way, and I think because of that, it's a good, mix for a good school.
It's always important to remember that Seoul Foreign School consists not only of teachers and administrators and students, but also consists of our what we call classified staff. We have electricians, carpenters, plumbers, bus drivers, cleaning staff, boilermen, secretaries, that all work together for the benefit of the school. One of the remarkable factors of the classified staff is that their tenure averages far more than the faculty or the administrators. I was there 30 years, which is very close to a record, but the people that worked for me had been there longer than that. So they are the continuing portion of the school personnel.
Not every school lasts 100 years, but SFS has done more than just survive. In its first century, Seoul Foreign School has had a meaningful impact on the lives of many in its community, personally and professionally.
I think when we started Birchwood School, Seoul Foreign School probably wasn't consciously in the forefront, we're going to start a school just like this. But of course it was a frame of reference for us. You want to build up the strong person who also has a good conscience toward God and man by way of rigorous academics so that they can learn things like persistence and hard work. Over the years, as we built that up, I think in retrospect, I have been very clear that Seoul Foreign School equipped me. Birchwood is a very diverse school, and last year I had a conversation with a parent who wanted to know about Seoul Foreign School. And as I was describing to her my experience at Seoul Foreign School, she said, "So that's why you seem to be such a natural at being so receptive to all the different cultures here." And for the first time I realized, oh yeah, that's right. That's totally right.
The school has been important to me. What is very interesting to me is to find that it's important to so many other people. Students who are only there 2 years or 3 years, or in some cases only 1 year, still look back with a nostalgic sort of sigh and feel that there was something special about the school.
When I look back and I think about some of the most life-changing situations, it has to be SFS. It started there.
Tavivan was in my 6th grade class. Of course, the class was full of children from all different countries, and her father had been military attaché from Cambodia to Korea. And it was during the year of the final year of the Cambodian Civil War.
1975, Cambodia falls to Pol Pot and his insurgents, and her parents had gone back to Phnom Penh for 1 weekend to get a change of assignment. The very weekend, the capital collapsed.
Anybody who was educated or from the, upper class, or just anybody had to be killed. And even if you wore glasses, you were considered educated and you were immediately killed. My father wore glasses, and plus of his social status and his job, he would have been one of the victims that, our family would have been marked immediately to be killed.
So she lost her mother, her father, her older brother, and 2 of the youngest siblings. Later on we found out they had all passed away.
Suddenly she had no source of funds, nobody to take care of her, and the tuition was the least of her problems.
So it was something the staff talked about a lot with each other in the lunchroom and after school and in the evenings. It seemed like a community concern.
The Korean government was saying, Cambodia no longer exists. You are no longer allowed to be in Korea. You either go to the Thai refugee camp or you find American sponsors, one or the other. So everybody in that community, I know we're all thinking about it because we sat around in those old brick apartment buildings talking away.
If there hadn't been a community that was looking into it and asking themselves, what can we do about it? What should we do about it? This is a situation right in our hand that, are we going to look the other way? Are we just going to turn it over to an organization to take care of, or are we going to solve it? And that was, when I look back, there was no other way to do it. We were all going to work this out. And boy, I'm just thinking about it now. That says a lot about the unique community there is at Seoul Foreign School.
When the Devilocks let on that they were willing to take Tavivan, I was very pleased and happy because her future was a question mark. We didn't know what on earth to do, and we were very glad that in the ethos and philosophy that we hoped to have in the school, one of our teachers was in fact willing to step in and take this kind of responsibility.
Who's going to take care of it? These teachers, that's it. And that was the kind of feeling that was around, and there was also a lot of moral support when we finally made that decision. We were not, left out to dry. There was a lot of support behind that.
SFS was a very, very special place for me. In that, when we went through all the trials, I could tell that everybody was very caring. And even though I wasn't a Christian then, I could feel that there was love. And I really appreciated that.
You forget the emotions that were in you at the time, I haven't visited this in 30 years. So we talked, Helene and I prayed, and sometimes we call it youthful idealism, you're willing to save the world. And then other times we realized, no, that was God's hand. He measured that out to us. And so we had to do a lot of jimmying here in the States. John Glenn, who was our senator in Ohio, signed some papers so that we could bring her in, and got all that kind of thing taken care of, and she came to live with us. Of course, 1 month later, Helene's pregnant with Christy. So we go to Korea, just a young couple. We come home, we doubled. But, everything from that point on really was absolutely beautiful. What's happened to Tavivan and her family is really, really quite beautiful.
Yeah, it boggles my mind that we happened to go to Korea and that there happened to be a great international school that presented an opportunity for teachers to go and have such a great teaching experience in an international setting. But it was an English-speaking school, so it was easy to go just do your teaching thing, but in such a wonderful cosmopolitan place. So there was this place, and then we came, and then she came, and just everything worked. But I don't think it could have happened anywhere else than Seoul Foreign School.